So let's get to some of the music you guys recommend. TJ, I'm not sure how this Music Monday thing works. Well, you did it right, TJ. You just kind of tweet me your thoughts on music or an article about music or something you want me to check out, and we talk about it. Unfortunately, we cannot listen to it because of parameters on YouTube. But I'm a huge fan of the Mountain Goats. You should check them out. TJ, I too am a huge fan of the Mountain Goats. I love John Darnell. I think he's a brilliant songwriter. I've seen the Mountain Goats 2 or 3 times. Doesn't matter. But they put on a really fun show. They're a really fun band to see live. And yeah, I'm not as fluent in their catalog as a lot of people are because they have so much material. But, I kind of know the obvious, the All Hail West Texas, Tallahassee, those kind of albums. And yeah, really dig the Mountain Goats. Every now and again, I do a music set here where I live in Pasadena at my favorite punk bar in the area called Old Town Pub. And I'll just do like a night of cover songs just for fun. It's just me and an acoustic guitar. And I've done This Year by the Mountain Goats. And I've also done the Best Ever Death Metal Band out of Denton. I know those are 2 very obvious Mountain Goat songs to play, but, I play them and I like them. A buddy of mine asked me a very important question. He said, when times are rough, do you flock towards the Mountain Goats or do you flock against the Mountain Goats? And I'll be totally honest with you. I go against. There are some, Mountain Goats are very funny. They use a lot of humor and a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff, but they also have some just gut-wrenchingly painful heartbreak songs. And when I think about some of the tougher times in my life, heartbreak-wise, I've actually not migrated towards the Mountain Goats because it was just too painful. In particular, there's a track called The Mess Inside. When I was going through, some rough times in my life, I could not listen to that song. It was just too... It would have been like, if the wound is open, it would have been like just sticking a fork in the wound. I couldn't. It's such a beautiful song. It's The Mess Inside is such a beautiful, beautiful song. But in times of toughness, I couldn't even do it. It was just too much. There was other stuff I could turn to, but Mountain Goats was not one of them. And that was a particular interesting question my buddy asked me, and I answered him honestly then too. I just said, you know what? I actually do the opposite. I turn away from the Mountain Goats when times are really bad. Now, I'm saying really bad, like heart got ripped out of your chest and stomped on bad. But anyway, yeah. So I like the Mountain Goats. Thanks for bringing them up. All right, let's see. So Spillers, Joey sends a group called the Spillers, and they have a 3-track album. He describes this as mid-30s Mainers. I guess that means people from Maine. If that means something else, I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it means they're from Maine. Playing late 90s emo in 2018, catchy as hell. Awesome. I'm always looking for new stuff to get into, and late 90s emo I really enjoyed, or at least what they called late. I think as far as emo goes, no one actually knows what it is. We'll never know. But I will check this out. Thank you. Now, all the stuff that you guys have sent in, what I do is I take screenshots of all the music you suggested, and then we talk about it on my music podcast, 5 Chords and the Truth, which will come out later today. Nicholas, Artificial Selection by Dance Gavin Dance. I've never heard of that, nor do I have any guesses what kind of music Dance Gavin Dance would be. So I will totally check that out, and thank you for the suggestion. Okay, Daniel, let's see here. Mason Jennings. Yes, I do like Mason Jennings. Now, I'm not as familiar with Mason Jennings as I should be, admittedly. I had a chance to see him a few years ago, and I wasn't able to go, and I think that kind of like didn't push me off the boat necessarily. I just never really got into it. But Mason Jennings is something I really got to get to the party about, so I will check out his self-titled, I think you said his self-titled album. Okay, I'll start with that based on your suggestion, Daniel. Thank you very much. Daniel also sends New Doomsday's Mimicking Birds. I will check that out as well, and thank you. And Daniel also sent out a new Mimicking Birds track, The Loop. or maybe not a new one, but another one. I guess I have no idea if it's new or not. It was the second song by the band Mimicking Birds. Let's see here. Alex points out, Ron, I'm really enjoying the Hold Steady. Thanks for the recommendation. You are very welcome, Alex, and I am thrilled to I am thrilled to hear you're enjoying the Hold Steady. So they're doing this weird like summer camp tour type thing, and they're going to 3 different cities, and they're doing just a cluster of shows in every city. So they're playing these smaller venues because they're going to sell it out for a couple nights in a row. And they're doing Asbury Park, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and San Francisco, California. Now, why they're doing 2 cities that are so freaking close, I don't know. Philadelphia and Asbury, which are really cool places, don't get me wrong. But why? I mean, that should just be one. And then they should pick like a third place, like in Chicago or something. But the West Coast, San Francisco got it, not Los Angeles. I unfortunately am not going to be able to make the trip up to San Francisco that weekend. At least I don't think I'll be able to. And I think the shows are already sold out anyway, so I'm kind of bummed out about that. And I'll give another recommendation because, and I'll stay true, every Music Monday so far I've worn a t-shirt. This one is no different. I'm wearing a t-shirt of a band called Death. This band is called Death. Who were they? They were a proto-punk band in Detroit, Michigan in the early 70s. There's a documentary about them now called A Band Called Death, I think the whole title is Before the Sex Pistols, There Was a Band Called Death. Watch the documentary. Basically what happened is, back in the early 70s, there were these 3 guys in Detroit, and they were 3 black guys, and they were playing intense rock and roll music that one could argue was pretty punk rock before punk rock was even a thing. Now, back in those days, it was certainly a different time, and the Detroit music scene did not know what to do with 3 black guys that weren't doing Motown. They were doing rock and roll. They didn't know what to make of that. So these guys, no one knew what to make of them. They were making this amazing rock and roll music. Nobody knew what to do with it. The band ended up breaking up. Didn't really do much. Years later, they were found again. And I don't want to say any more than that because you guys really got to watch the movie, and I don't want to spoil it for everyone. Because it's a very beautiful story, like a very, very beautiful story, how these guys got rediscovered. And now they're a band again. They are currently active, and they're still in Detroit, as far as I know. I'm not going to say any more than that. There's more complications involved than what I said, but I don't want to spoil anything. I want you guys to watch the movie. I will say this much, too. I saw them a couple years ago at Ride Fest. And just knowing how beautiful their story is and just seeing this crowd of people so into their music. And you could tell it was more than just people loving their music. It was people loving their music and being so gracious and loving in the sense that they found it. They were like, man, we didn't know about you. A lot of us weren't even born when you guys started. I mean, I wasn't even around. Well, technically I was, because I've been 27 since the year 1933, but you know what I mean. And it was just this beautiful moment of all these people just so happy. And before they got on stage, people were talking about the film, like just in the audience. They were like, "Did you see the documentary? Yeah, it's such a beautiful story. I know." And when you hear their EP, their first EP, which is this right here, and you realize that this was going on in the 70s, and they were playing. I mean, this is the type of stuff, if it came out today, people would be like, whoa, this is some really gnarly power trio punk rock stuff. But they were doing this in the 70s. I mean, it just gives you chills. And every time I listen to that EP, it's a 7-song EP, and it's perfect, and it's so freaking good. Check out Death, and please watch the documentary about them if you haven't already. I'll go to the chat before we go to some of the articles you guys sent in. Good music comes from Detroit. Jennifer, I totally agree. Same happened in the techno scene in Detroit in the late 80s. That's interesting. I don't know anything about that. I don't know any. I mean, I know Detroit in general is just such a beautiful, beautiful city and such an amazing cultural mecca. And it's really, I didn't think of this when I put this t-shirt on this morning, to be totally honest with you. But Detroit's been on my mind a lot lately because me and my girlfriend are considering buying a house in Detroit. We're not going to live there, but we're considering. It's weird I'm sharing this with you guys, but me and my girlfriend are considering investing in property in Detroit. I tried convincing myself I was into punk in high school because all my friends were into it. It never really worked. Hey, Balthazar, music's subjective, and some people just don't connect with certain things. A lot of metal I just don't connect with, and a lot of my friends are metalheads, and I respect it. I know that it's great music, but for some reason I just don't connect with it. It's hard, and I'm a punk guy. I can see how some people just don't connect with punk. And sometimes no matter how hard you try, you're just not going to. It's one of those things. TJ, Graham Elwood said he was coming to Seattle this summer. Are you going to be there with him? And if not, are you going to be in Seattle anytime soon? I'm not going to be in Seattle when Graham's there. That's a different thing. That's not our progressive comedy tour. Not all of our tour dates are together. And unfortunately, I will not be in the Northwest at that time. I will be in Portland at the end of June with Jimmy Dorshow. I will be there then. But and I am trying to get to Seattle either with Graham or on my own at some point, either in the fall or winter. But as of right now, I don't have any plans. But I will be announcing some more fall tour dates pretty soon. We're going to kind of look at the calendar, see what else we can lock in there. And yeah, Seattle might very well be on the list. But still working on all that. Let's see. Daniel gave a shout out to Bad Brains. Good call. Bad Brains. Another very early all-black punk band. Death came even before Bad Brains, but Bad Brains are freaking awesome. Let's see here. When will you come to Chicago? Cappuccino Conservative asked. So I'm not going to be in Chicago with the Jimmy Dore Show, unfortunately. I'm going to miss that show. I have a conflict, and I'm incredibly depressed that I'm going to miss that show. It's a really big bummer, but, I have a conflict. So, let's see. I will be, in July 21st, I will be doing a house show in Galena, Illinois, which is a little bit outside of Chicago. And if you want to attend that, email me. Go to ronplacone.com and email me, because that's a house show. So, email me. And then as far as Chicago proper, I don't know. But hopefully very soon. Garden Gnome gives a shout out to TV on the Radio. Yeah, great Chicago band. Love it. Let's see. Cool. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.